traditional advice is broken for a couple of reasons. You mentioned one, people want results now. They want to live their life now. I don't want to defer and wait and hope that the actions that I'm taking now are going to do what they're supposed to do. Yet here's the summation of traditional financial advice. It's get good grades, go get a good job, work as much as you need to work to climb the corporate ladder, take everything that you save, put it into a retirement, give it to somebody.
Welcome to the Gentleman's Success, Happiness, and Fulfillment Talk podcast, where we bring to you the most successful, happy, fulfilled gentlemen from around the world who have been able to conquer themselves, their life, their marriage, and their businesses. You will be learning from four-dimensional gentlemen who have cracked the code to the science of having it all. The question is, how can married entrepreneurs with kids become gentlemen, achieve true freedom, and build a successful, happy, and fulfilled life, marriage, and business? This show will give you the answer for that. My name is Alex Ramirez, and I'm your host, and you're welcome to the Gentleman's Success, Happiness, Fulfillment Talk podcast. Well, let me take out my introduction for you here.
Well, give me a quick, I know we know each other, we've talked before. Give me the quick rundown of the modern gentleman. Who's your listener? What are they after? And then just kind of give me a quick, I know my stuff inside and out, so we can go anywhere. I actually prefer non-scripted stuff, but just kind of what are you hoping to get out of the interview today?
Awesome, man. But just a quick question. Do you have to cut off at any time?
I do have a hard stop at 3.
At 3, quick. So we have 40 minutes.
40 minutes.
My ideal clients are married entrepreneurs with kids, right? And I'm all about this gentleman, right? Becoming a gentleman. And being a gentleman for me is being a four-dimensional man committed to achieving true freedom and having it all. True freedom meaning physical freedom, emotional freedom, sentimental freedom, husband and father, and financial freedom, right? If you get those 4 freedoms, you're going to be successful, happy, and fulfilled. I'm a high-performance mindset coach. That's what I call myself. I help married entrepreneurs with kids grow their businesses without sacrificing time, health, and family, right? So like we focus on the mindset aspect of things because they know the strategies and the tactics, but they're fucking themselves up. And the performance. So mindset and performance, that's what I do. My ideal clients are married entrepreneurs with kids. There are a bunch of married entrepreneurs with kids, but they are at a specific point of their journey. They're this is how I describe it, at 50% of their journey or earlier, right? So yep. The men that I get on my podcast are gentlemen who have conquered themselves, their life, their marriage, and their business, who basically have it all, right? And I get men who are, at the end of their journey, who are here. And the purpose for that is to motivate, inspire, and bless the other married entrepreneurs with kids who are at an early stage of their journey with the tool sets, the tactics, the strategies, and everything necessary for them to be able to grow their businesses and conquer themselves, their life, their marriage, and their business. So this is what this is for. The majority of my talks are about like mindset and are about mindset and stuff. But cool. I would like to go into like the financial aspect of things with you, man.
Awesome.
So
that all is going to line up great.
Awesome.
I'm still trying to figure out all the things you're saying. So, I'm doing okay, but no, I still got a long way to go too. So, but hopefully I can, pull in anything that you want. Go ahead. Like I'm open book. We'll go anywhere you want to go. So that'll work great.
All right. Let me give you my normal introduction then.
Perfect.
I haven't given my normal introduction for the past 3 interviews, so this is going to be fun. So it's recording already. So let me just take a deep breath. Hello, beautiful people. As always, I'm very excited here for another episode of the Gentleman's SHF Talk with Alex Ramirez. And as always, I have a very special guest, a gentleman who has conquered himself, his life, his marriage, and his business. And before I introduce him to you, I just want to give a big shout out to all of you who have been leaving reviews on the major podcasting platforms, Apple, Spotify. I don't remember the other one. And especially to the ones who have been leaving likes and review on YouTube as well. And I just want to thank all of you who have taken the time to do that. 99% of you watching of the people that watch will probably not take the time to leave a comment or a review, but the 1% of you who do are the ones who make all the difference. So to you, I say, thank you. And today I have Brad GIBB. He graduated. All right, so I'm gonna read his bio here. Okay, so let's see. Cool. So Brad graduated from with his master's in accounting, and then jumped headfirst into the hustle of New York City's Wall Street, working for the Goldman Sachs. Okay, cool. Brad,
don't hold it against
Brad
me.
Simon was
it was
cool.
fun, but don't hold it against me.
Brad Simon was impeccable. So you know everything around like Wall Street and all that. Awesome, man. It's gonna be exciting. So Brad Simon was impeccable, being that he moved to Wall Street 2 weeks before the 2008 meltdown. And although it was painful and a very confusing time, as it has for all Americans, Brad saw firsthand that there was something deeply flawed with the traditional financial system, which we're going to go into right now, and I'm excited for that. So realizing that he was the low man on the totem pole at Goldman, and that he did not want to work in that deeply flawed system. I'm really bad at reading, man. Brad then joined with an accounting firm whose primary purpose was to audit companies before they went public. Once again, Brad was able to see behind the curtains on how Wall Street worked and how companies went public. Once again, he was not enthralled by what he saw. It wasn't until 2013 when his path crossed with Ryan, right, that they began building a system together, aggregating advice from the best sources, companies, comparing it with the experience of their mentors, and then putting it into practice for themselves, was when they realized they could fill the void of personalized financial advice these professionals and business owners were seeking. So you're basically revolutionizing the like financial investing, traditional financial investing, right?
I mean, that's the way we look at it, right? Nothing we say is traditional. We've seen all aspects and areas of it. And yeah, we're just trying to get straight to the bottom line of what works, what's proven to have been work, and how do we go get those results?
Because financial advice is dangerous, misleading, and most of the time outright wrong.
97% of it is. That's exactly what we say, that it's dangerous, misleading, or outright wrong. And dude, Alex, I'm sure you see this. It's not just financial advice, but people want to believe that, like, well, financial advice is just numbers, so how can there be an opinion on it? It just is, right? But man, like, just like in like dieting, like I see you on Instagram, you work out a lot. I'm sure you watch carefully what you eat. How many times you've been told advice that's not just a little bit different, but completely the opposite, right? There are people that are like, don't ever eat any carbs. And then there's people that don't, eat only carbs. Like, well, what is it? Right?
Yeah.
Guys, the same stuff happens in the financial industry. The financial industry is not about math. It's not about proven results. There's agendas. It's about what we are willing to accept, what we really shoot and aim for. And we've got to be able to cut through that and learn, just like we need to in all the other areas of our life. We've got to step forward and take control of our finances. Doesn't mean we have to do everything. Doesn't mean you got to go get 5 degrees like I have and do all the things I've done, but it does mean you got to step forward and be willing to take control, and determine your own destiny, your own outcome. And it's to those people, that's who we speak to. People that just want to follow the rules, people that just want to not have to think about it, not have to do the hard part of it. Great. Then you'll get what everybody else gets, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you want something different, by definition, we can't do what everybody else does. And we have to be willing to step forward. And it's for those people who know that they're meant for more and know that they're stuck in a system that doesn't serve them. We're here to be the guides to show them the path out.
Awesome, man. And like you're saying right now, that is the financial system, the traditional financial system, right?
Yep.
Like that doesn't work. So I'm really very excited because the majority of my talks with gentlemen have been about mindset and stuff, about the 4 areas of life, right? Physical freedom, about emotional freedom, about sentimental freedom, about being a good husband and father. But I haven't had a guest other than Ryan that has with which I focused on talking about the financial one. So, man, tell us a little bit more about why does the traditional financial system, and why, my audience wants to get rich now. Like, they don't want to wait until they're 65 and to retire and all that. Like they don't want that. They want to achieve financial freedom. That's all they talk about, freedom. So, and I know that your slogan or it's rise up and live free, right? So
yes,
I really like that. So like, go ahead and just blow our minds.
I'll dive into it. And I do want to put a side note to this, Alex, just to make sure everybody understands, because I am very careful about who I take advice from. And I think you would say the same thing. So I was honored when you had us on our podcast, because to me, I don't take that lightly. I don't have people on my podcast that I don't trust, that I don't understand where they're going to be coming from. And just so the listeners know and understand, like I'm working in all the areas you're talking about, right? I am married. I've got 6 kids at home. My oldest is 13. So I got 6 kids, 13 and under. We've chosen to homeschool those kids. So we've got them with us. We feel very committed and in wanting to be involved in that. And then I run 2 businesses along with lots of other side, rabbits that I'm always chasing. And so I get it. I get that there's a grind to this, and that money is one element that fits in amongst the rest. And we do really strive to work to teach this in a way that fits in with somebody who owns a business, somebody who is married, somebody who has kids, somebody wants to be successful in all of those areas. That was one of the big reasons I left Wall Street. It just didn't work for me. I wanted different outcomes outside of just a career. And that was another roadblock. So I just want to put that out there, that like this is real talk, and we're doing it ourselves. I got to sneeze here. Oh, excuse me.
Bless you.
Pardon me. Okay. So traditional advice is broken for a couple of reasons. You mentioned one. People want results now. They want to live their life now. I don't want to defer and wait and hope that the actions that I'm taking now are going to do what they're supposed to do. Yet here's the summation of traditional financial advice. It's get good grades, go get a good job, work as much as you need to work to climb the corporate ladder, take everything that you save, put it into a retirement, give it to somebody who doesn't know you, isn't looking out necessarily for your best interest, but gives the same exact advice to every single person that walks in their door. Max out your retirement accounts, give every dollar you have to Wall Street, and then hope that when you're 65, it all works out.
And it makes sense.
If there's a rough patch, don't worry, just wait it out. That's it. That's your advice. Now, imagine taking that same advice, Alex, with your kids. Have some kids, give them to the school system, give them to the government, and then check in 18, 20, 25 years later and see how they did. Is that going to work out very well?
Doesn't make sense, man. No.
Not going to work out, right? But yet we take that on the financial side. So that system, it's broken not because you won't have more money. Like, guys, I want to be really clear. The investment stuff we talk about it's not about making more money. Everything we do, God, we live in America, the greatest capitalist nation on the planet. It's easy to make money, right?
There's money on the streets, man.
But does it get us our outcome? Does it get us the objective? Does it make us free? And if I have to put my money in there, give away control, and then wait, and I'm not even legally allowed to touch it until I'm 65, well, even though I may generate a return on that, I may have more money than what I put in. I'll never be free. I'll never be in control, and I'll never be in power. And so that's why we've exited that world entirely, is to get those 3 things.
Man, that's amazing, because it's crazy. It's crazy that the traditional advice, everyone wants freedom. I've literally gotten on hundreds and hundreds of calls with married entrepreneurs with kids, and almost on, I can say like maybe on 90% of the calls, the word freedom came up, right? Some type of freedom, financial freedom, time freedom, place freedom, like emotional freedom, some type of freedom came up. So like, that's what most people want, freedom. And if you follow the traditional advice, the traditional financial advice, and you follow like what everyone else is doing, you're never be free. So it's crazy to think that people want something, but the actions that they're doing will never take them there. And it's everything based on promise of like safety and security, right? People want safety and security. That's why they like, and they're dependent on the government. So that's why they like give in. But like we see with you, I think you have like an undergrad, a master's in accounting, where you have a couple of degrees for some reason you like school or something, right?
I did.
But even then, you felt like there was no safety and security, right? So yeah, so like, doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense.
And well, and that's the thing, and I think you see this in a lot of other areas. We're told that safety and security comes from doing what everybody else does, from being with the crowd. That's the safe place to be, right? And so that's the only safety that Wall Street traditional options offer, is that, well, everyone else is doing it. So if you lose, well, you're going to lose just as much as everybody else did, and you're all in the same boat, right? That's supposed to be safety. Or we're gonna make it so that you can't lose everything. Okay, you can still lose large chunks. You can't ever really make any massive gains, right? Those are going to be, the long run of the market is still very, very small. Yet in any given year, we can still lose a fair amount, but you won't lose everything. So let's trade possibility. Let's trade potential. Let's trade our dreams for the fact that, well, maybe you'll just lose 20 or 30% instead of everything, right? And by making that trade, you give away exactly what you're asking for here, which is freedom. And it's rooted in a mindset. I love that you talk about mindset. We kind of joke, although this is not our personality at all, but we joke that like here at Cashflow Tactics, we're kind of like Tony Robbins wrapped in a spreadsheet, because there is so much mindset required in anything you're wanting to get success. It starts with mindset, and then you go and learn a skill set that you can improve upon. And finances is no different. And the first mindset, Alex, that I would tell people that they need to shift is people are looking for their problems to be solved externally. Do you see that in non-financial areas, that they just wish someone would solve their problems?
Yeah. I have experienced that myself. Like that, I look for things externally instead of looking inside, because that's probably where you can find it. But yeah, all the time. And
so financially, we're doing that. If I just had the right CPA, if I just had the right financial advisor, if I just had the right opportunity, the right product, the right account, like everyone's looking that if I just give something my money, then the problem will be solved. But financially, if you don't have what you want, it means that there's a deficit in your mindset or skill set or your network to be able to achieve that. So where we start the conversation with everybody is we have to flip the script and say, no, the greatest investment that you can ever make is in yourself, first and foremost. And if you're not doing that on the regular, no stock, no crypto, no pre-IPO, no real estate investment will ever get you financial freedom. You've got to start with that you are the greatest asset. And then the second greatest investment is your ability to produce. As a business owner, it's growing a successful business. If you're not a business owner, it's investing in your career. It's advancing whatever that productive element. And man, today it's like you said, there's money just sitting in the streets. It's so easy to make money in today's world that we should start there. So we look at production as the start of the conversation. And that's the first mindset and if you go to any financial advisor, they're never going to say, well, when's the last time you invested in yourself? What's the last mastermind you joined? What's the last?
They don't want you to be educated.
Why?
Right?
Why? It's because then they don't need a job, right? But the more ignorant they can keep you and the more smart they can look, well, then you got no choice but to follow the advice they give because you don't know any better.
Yeah. And like, if you're listening to this, that should give you a clue. How come, everyone in stocks, financial advisors, whatever, right? In Wall Street or whatever, doesn't want you to be educated financially. Doesn't want you to invest in yourself. They tell you, no, go ahead and invest in stocks. Go ahead and invest in real estate. How come? Like they don't want you to be educated. They want you to invest, to give your money to something externally. But then you come here and are changing the game. You're revolutionizing this industry, and you're telling people, no, the number one asset, the number one investment that you should be making is an investment in yourself, because you are your number one production machine, and you want to invest in yourself in order to increase your ability to produce, right? So that should give you a clue, right? It's crazy.
And every product, that we look at, every strategy we look to employ, it all ties back to you as the greatest asset, your business as your greatest investment, and does what we're going to do support those two things? If not, we're not going to do it. Cause like, another bomb I'll drop for you is like, this is the path business owners go down, right? It's at some point in time, you realized you were different, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe it was in college and you just couldn't sit through class and listen to your professor talk. Maybe it was in high school where you didn't care about grades, or maybe you were the kid in third grade in the back eating paste. I don't know. At some point you didn't fit the mold, right? Yet then you leave the world, you leave the 97% and you don't get a job. You maybe don't get a degree, and you go and you build a business and you sacrifice blood, sweat, tears, everything that goes in to getting a business off the ground. And the moment you start to have enough success to have a few dollars left over after putting everything back into the business and having enough to make the bills work, and you now have a little bit left over, and you go and you ask, what should I do with my leftover money? The advice is go find a different business that you know nothing about in a market you don't understand, that you don't have any control, and give them your money, because they can do more with it than you can. Like, that's what they're telling you. If you're going to go buy stocks, is give it to someone else's company, because they can do more than you can. Now, again, an employee who just wants to live an average life, right? And not all employees are this way, right? We work with lots of very producer-minded W-2 focused people, but people that just want to plug in and clock out, yeah, they probably should give their money to a different company because they can do more with it than they can. But you've got a business staring you in the face. It's a money printing press staring you in the face. Let's start there. And that leads us to the second part of what we talk about is, after we talk about production, we're not going to investing yet. Why don't we keep some of the money, a little bit more of that money that we're making, right? So protection becomes next. We've got to protect what we've built. We've got to protect the money that's coming in. We've got to pay less in taxes. We've got to make sure that it's not lost, that market crashes, inflation, those types of things don't take the wealth that we've already created before we can even talk about moving on to the next point. So that's the second pillar of what we talk about is we need a strong focused protection strategy to protect the business that you've spent this much time building and putting together and creating, and not get so excited to go, again, give it all away to someone else.
So production, protection, you have to get those right first before you go into the third. There's a third one. How many? There's a third. Do you cover?
We got 4 pillars, just like you got 4 areas. Every good thing's come in 4. And I learned this in my marketing study a long time ago. If it doesn't rhyme or it's not in alliteration, then it's not true. So we made them all rhyme, or they all start with P's. So it's our 4 P's to wealth. So produce, protect. Now we can get into the conversation of profit, right? This is where now our money can start working for us. So if we know how to make money and we know how to confidently keep the money that we're making, now we can turn our attention to having that money work for us. But if we don't solve those other 2, if we go to invest, we end up in this cycle of it doesn't matter how much we make because we lose it all, right? So then we can move into profit. And the kind of the way I like to describe this is, I don't know if you follow sports, probably most of your listeners do, but like think about the NFL, right? What's the difference between Dan Marino, right? Oh, shoot. Of course, I'm drawing a blank because I'm on screen with you, but quarterback for the Patriots, Tom Brady, right?
Okay.
What's the difference? I know he's not for the Patriots anymore, but Dan Marino and Tom Brady. There's a difference between those 2 guys, right? In the regular season, they both produced, right? They were all-stars. They led the league in all the stats in the regular season. But what makes Tom Brady different? He's got 6 or 7 rings, right?
Okay.
He's got Dan Marino didn't win a single Super Bowl. So when you talk about the greatest quarterbacks of all time, regular season doesn't matter. It's just a list of who has rings, right? And Tom Brady will always be a champion. Even now, like we know every major league best quarterbacks exit as the worst because they'll never quit. They'll never stop. They want to keep playing, right? Joe Montana got cut, right? Before he would leave. So they're going to leave the worst. But if they get a Super Bowl ring, once a champion, always a champion, right? And we know that at every sport, it works the same way. Michael Jordan, same way, right? It works the same way. If you get a ring, You are a champion forever. But in the business world, Alex, I can grow a 6-figure, 7-figure, 8-figure business, but I could lose it all tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
So what's my Super Bowl ring? What makes sure that my success lasts as long as a Super Bowl ring does? And I don't end up on the marginalized conversation of business owners. Like, what's my Super Bowl ring? Okay. And this is what we talk about in the world of investing. The only time I ever look to invest outside of myself or my business is something that produces cash flow for me. Because if I produce cash flow, that's my Super Bowl ring. My business could go away, but if that asset continues to produce cash flow without me having to be involved in it day to day, I now have a level of financial freedom that I can't attain from inside of my business. Because my business requires, no matter how much you put it on autopilot, it still requires you as the business owner to move it forward. You have to take on that chaos and manage that risk. So the only time we ever talk about investing outside of our business is if it will do the thing that our business can never do, which is produce cash flow month in and month out without us being involved. That's then becomes the focus. So I make money, I keep the money I'm making, I trade that money for cash flow if my business, and if after investing in myself and making sure I'm investing in my business, I trade that for cash flow. That cash flow, once I have enough cash flow to cover my expenses or to live the lifestyle that I want to achieve, that's my Super Bowl ring. My business could go away tomorrow. It could struggle. It could go sideways, but that doesn't affect me anymore. I'm now financially independent. I'm financially secure.
Cool. So cash flow is the fourth one then.
So no, profit is the third one, right? And that's cash flow. Wait, we got to invest to create cash flow. Okay, and as we do that, that allows us the last element, which is prosper and to actually live wealthy today, right? No more deferring, no more waiting, no more putting the money on the sideline, no more investing for one day, right? By espousing, produce, protect, profit, that allows us to prosper and live the life that we want to design today because we're in control of those elements. So those three tip us over to the fourth one, which is the objective. The only reason I care about my money is I want to build a life that matters, right? I want to be around for my kids. I want to provide them the experiences that I think they should have. I want to be able to make the impact in the world, and money is just my tool to do that. So by following those three, it will maximize our ability to prosper. So produce, protect, beautiful. Profit, prosper.
That was beautiful, man. That was beautiful, man. So you help people, right? So you help them, they invest in themselves, right? They invest in themselves so that you can invest in them. And you help them increase their ability to produce, right? You focus on production, you help them increase their ability to produce. But not only that, not only will they be making more money working with cash flow tactics, right? Because you teach them all the tactics to have cash flow and to make more money. Mm-hmm. You also teach them how to protect their money, right? Which actually, yep. I saw the other day in the story that you did a 3-hour training to show people how to save 5 figures or more in taxes, right? How to prevent themselves to paying 5 figures or more in taxes every single year. So you show them how to protect their money. So you should, not only do you show them how to make more money, you show them how to protect their money. And then once their ability to make money has increased and they know how to protect their money and they have become like extremely profitable and they have cash flow, right? Like they prosper, and that's when they rise up and live free. So like I can see the difference. Now it's very clear what you do. So like the difference between the traditional financial vehicles is that, they promise you to be free, to be financially free sometime in the future and they focus on net worth, right? But then like the cash flow, cash flow tactics, you focus on cash flow, you focus on right now. And instead of focusing on your net worth sometime in the future, how you're going to be worth a lot and you're going to be able to be free, you focus on building cash flow assets that generate money for you month in and month out without you having to be there. And you don't focus, instead of focusing on net worth, you focus on cash flow. I love that, man.
100%. That was a great summary. I should record that and transcribe and keep that. That was perfect. It's better than I could have said it.
That's crazy. Yep. So that was awesome, man. So, cool. So let's see. So let's see. So man, for whatever aspect of your life, right? Physical, emotional, and mine don't rhyme. My four areas don't rhyme. So
gotta make a rhyme, man.
Yeah, man. I gotta find a way. But it's right now, it's physical freedom, emotional freedom, sentimental freedom, and financial freedom. For any of those, right? Whatever it is that you gotta know what you want, right? That's what most people like. It's crazy that most people don't know what they want. Right?
That's insane to me too. I've noticed that. And I don't want to cut you off, but we do, before we can work with anybody, we make you answer 3 questions. What do you want? Why does it matter? And who do you need to become? And I will not build a financial game plan or help you be a better investor or bring my network to you unless you've answered those 3 things. Because if I don't know what you want, I can't help you get there. But you're right. So many people have lived in such a predetermined life, right? I go from elementary school to middle school, high school, college to job, promotion to promotion. And I never have to think about, well, what do I want? This is just what everyone's doing. And you're right. It's a tough question to answer.
Yeah, man, most people have never been given the chance to decide what they want. Like 97% of people, you're walking down the streets, right? You see 100 people and you ask all of them, hey, what do you want? And they're like, what do you mean? Crazy, right? Like it's the most important question in your life. And yet most people don't know it. So yeah, there's 3 questions that, that I get people to ask themselves. Where am I? Where do I want to go? What do they want? Defining success, right? And who must I become to get there? So
yeah,
like, like to whatever it is that you want, you got to define what success will look like. And then once you define what success will look like, you just build a system to get there, right? So you build a system to get there. So like, what is that system? What is that vehicle? What is that, like, what is the secret sauce, man?
So dude, I love how our stuff lines up so well, because we do the same thing. We get them focused on what they want. We sit down, we assess where you at, and then we say, what does financial freedom look like? And the way we put things together is, and this is where this has just come from our own personal experience, the experience of our mentors, all the study and research I did while on Wall Street, is if you follow the right set of principles, and we call it the financial freedom formula. So things have to rhyme or it doesn't make sense. I don't know why we do that, but so we call it the financial freedom formula. But if you follow that formula, anybody, regardless of age, income, prior experience, can become financially free in 10 years or less. So we set a 10-year time window and say, where are you at now? What does success look like 10 years out? And then just like you said, we just reverse engineer what has to happen. And that's the crazy part. Like people that are in a workout plan understand you need a plan and you need steps to follow and you need markers and you need to, and you need that in your job. You need that at school, but people don't ever do that in their financial plan. It's just, here's money. I'll check back in 30 years. Right. So what we do is we take a 10-year plan and we break it down into 12-month objectives and 90-day targets. And we're operating on a constant cycle of 90-day targets to hit a 1-year objective to get us where we want to be 10 years from now. So that is what we call a game plan. So we don't run tradition. It's not just my money mindlessly goes somewhere. And then even with us, we won't take your money. We won't do it that way. We run everybody knows their 90-day targets or 12-month objectives. And we work through that. And then the core 4 and 4 pillars is the financial freedom formula that we follow. That's the methodology we use, and it's tough to break down here on a podcast. I'm usually a kind of a visual drawing person, but what the thing that we've got to understand is, by the time I get to about this point in an interview, people are like, just tell me what you invest in, Brad. Okay. Like that was all neat. That was fun, but just go like, what is it? Right? What is it that you do? And for us, it's less what we do, it's more how we do it. Okay. So like if you search Warren Buffett in Amazon, there's over 20,000 books that come up with his name in the title or the subject matter. 20,000 books written on how Warren Buffett invests. Okay. Yet none of them are billionaires. Why? Right? Think about that for a second. There's 20,000 books written on Warren Buffett, but none of the people that wrote them, none of the people that read them are billionaires. The reason why is they're trying to look from the outside in and say, well, I'm just going to take what I can see on the surface and do the same thing Warren Buffett's doing. I'm going to buy the same stocks. I'm going to go through the same method. He got rich in the stock market. If I just buy the same companies he has, you'll never be a billionaire, because it's not what Warren Buffett does. It's how he does it, right? Exactly. You can be financially free in just about any asset class. You can make money doing just about anything in the world. So it's not what, it's how. And we teach the how. how Warren Buffett, how investors, how I did it. I did it in about 6 years. I became financially free applying the same formula. Ryan is better than me at it. And he did it in 4 years. Jimmy, my other business partner, did it himself. And we've done it with hundreds of people inside of our community by focusing on how we should invest and ignoring the what. The how will get us there, right? And that's where kind of our formula looks at it. And there's I'll just quickly roll through them. We won't have time to expand on them, but we look to make investments that produce it. So we increase two things and we decrease two things. We increase our returns, but we increase our control. We decrease risk and we decrease taxes. That's our main focus of what we're doing. So we're not the high risk, high return. That formula is broken. That doesn't work. Mm-hmm. We're high control, low risk to engineer the return that we want to generate and then not pay taxes on it. And that's the same way. I mean, Warren Buffett's number one rule of investing: don't lose money. Rule number two, never forget rule number one. Right? They understand these types of things. Warren Buffett, he doesn't invest in a company unless he gains a controlling interest in that company. He doesn't just buy shares of stock like you and I would. He buys a controlling interest. So he increases control and he decreases risk to get his outcome. That's what we're teaching people how to do, so that the investments they are in have the ability to actually get them what they want. That's how we get massive results in a fraction of the time. Is we focus on how to do it, not what to invest in. That's amazing, man. So you want to know, so like, just to like summarize what you said in just like in a different context, let's say that, what's this guy? I forgot the name just because I'm here with you on screen as well. So there's this guy, I don't know what his name is. Let's call him Brad. He's the best driver of Formula One cars, right? He's the best driver in the world. He has won multiple championships. So like, what would happen if they put that guy on, like the audience, right? Like you driving a Toyota Corolla. What would happen if they put that guy? He would crush it still, right? He'd destroy me. Yeah. Yeah. So even if he's driving a Toyota Corolla, what would happen if they put the average, investor, right? The average, like whatever, a Toyota Corolla driver inside a Formula One car. He crashes it, right? Like, so the car is the investment. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's real estate. It doesn't matter if it's stocks. It doesn't matter if it's whatever, right? If you're not the driver, that's why it's like, what do you want and who must you become, right? So the reason your investments, the reason your vehicles are not a Formula One car is because you're not a Formula One driver. And I just love it, man. So that is a great way to put it. So not only do you give people the Formula One cars, because that's the easy one. That's the easy thing, right? Honestly, right? Yep, it is. The what is easy. Yeah, giving the people the Formula One car, right? The stock, the whatever, this strategy, the other strategy is the easy part. The hard part is building the Formula One car driver. And that is what you do, which is game changer, man. Yep. So I love it, man. I love it. And that's how everything we do is structured. That's why we do everything. We lead with education. We make sure everybody has a personal game plan, 90-day targets, 12-month objectives. And we focus on, we follow our own advice. You're your greatest investment. Well, then you are what I should be spending most of my time on as well, not the things. So we invest back into our groups and we bring the right, we kind of three pieces to it as well: the right education, team, and opportunity. And that all converges inside of our community at Cashflow Tactics. Awesome, man. So to like finish off, I have 5 really quick questions for you. Sweet. Let's do it. The first one is, let's see. The first one was, what is, like, if you could give yourself, your 18-year-old self, your young self, some advice, what would you say to him? My 18-year-old self? Yeah, knowing what you know now, about money, about the financial stuff, right? So I think I heard this from Ed Milet, so I'm not going to claim it as mine, but I would give this advice to myself at age 18. I would learn the art of being aggressively patient. Okay, cool. I love that phrase of like, because there were times where I was too aggressive and there were times I was too patient, right? But that balancing that, always being ready, always pushing it forward, but letting the principles operate and having, trust in timelines that are outside of my control. That's what I would tell myself at 18 is aggressive patience, right? Continue to push, continue to have it, but give there enough time to see the result before you think you need to move on. That's what I would have told myself.
Awesome. Which goes back to knowing what you want and becoming. So like if you are the person who will put in the work to get what you want, you'll put in the work patiently and you enjoy the process, and eventually you'll get to where you want to be and even better, right? The second question is, what's one mindset shift that you got in like financially that like could completely like was a game changer to you? A mindset shift, a financial mindset shift.
So I would just repeat the same one, that I'm my greatest investment, right? As soon as I left, most people, when they leave school, they stop investing in themselves. And I would say that was the thing. Once I started investing in myself, everything changed financially and otherwise. But it started with me writing a check and betting on myself, not on anyone else.
Awesome. The third one, man, is, as always, you got to know where you are in order to know how you're going to get to where you want to go, where you are. So is there any strategy or tactic or anything, any tool that you use to keep track of where you are, financially?
Where I am, a tool where I am financially. Well, this is a little biased, but we built a software to do just that. So inside of our community, we want our software that gives us those visuals. But I think it's the way, and this is the way our thing is built. But the idea is in reality, there's too much information in the world. The problem we have is not lack of information. If you're not where you want to be, it's not because there's not enough information available. Oftentimes there's too much available, and we can't actually move on anything actionable. And so it would be refined down to your key indicators. And keep this under 5. What are the 5 or less key indicators that you need to pay attention to, and then pay attention to them? But in the short run, ignore the rest and find just the 5 needle movers to know where I am right now. And then use other check-in points, 90 days, a year out, to really assess and get all of the richness of the data. But when you're in the moment, you can only process up to 5 things at a time. So just keep those.
Love it. All right. And the last one is, what is one habit that you've developed that has really helped you financially?
Okay. I hope it should resonate with your audience, but I'm going to go here. For me, it's prayer. If I don't take the time to meditate and pray and align what I want and the actions I'm taking and what I see in front of me with a higher purpose and a higher connection, and stay in line with that, then I'm always lost. And I never make the right decisions. I always feel like I'm going off there. So staying anchored for me is anchored in that relationship. And then the relationship with my spouse cascades from that to my kids, to my business, to my clients, to my financial success. It all cascades from that one source. So for me, it's been personal, individual prayer that keeps me where I want to be.
Cool. Keeping you grounded, right? Cool.
Yep.
Cool. So, man, thank you very much for being here, man. I loved everything that you said. Let's say that just like me, I fell in love with everything that you said. And like, I'm one of those people that doesn't want to confirm with the traditional financial advice, with the traditional financial vehicles that promise you to get you rich when you're 65 years of age. And I want to focus on the now, on cash flow tactics that will get me to rise up and live free in the next 10 years or less. So where can I get to know more of you? Where can I watch your content or whatever?
Man, I've had so much fun on this call. This is great. I appreciate you giving me the chance to also tell people where they can find us. The best way to get started with this is we do a free 5-day challenge where we give you small bits of this, but you can go in and do your own work. So we'll help you understand some of these concepts. We'll expand them. We expand on the financial freedom formula. We expand on targets. We really help you get clear on where you're at right now. And then by the end of the 5 days, we'll be able to build with you a strategy to go from wherever you are to financially free in 10 years or less. It'll all be clear over the course of 5 days, totally free. If you just go to Cashflow Tactics, so it's Cashflow Tactics, all one word, .com/challenge. You can jump in, you can register for that. And you really, like I said, we'll spend 5 days with you walking through all these principles. And I mean, we put tactics in our name on purpose. You'll get the tactics to the principles that we covered on the call here, and then be able to see it, be walked through with it, with your own situation, and see how that applies. So take us up on that challenge. It's again, cashflowtactics.com/challenge.
Amazing, man. So, man, thank you very much for being here. I know that we're a couple of minutes past, so really appreciate you, and I'll see you later, man.
Awesome, Alex. Thanks.
Thank you for watching the Gentleman's Success, Happiness, and Fulfillment Talk podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with one friend, leave us a comment, and let us know. 99% of people never leave a review or comment, but we love and are very thankful with the 1% of you who do. If there's something or someone you want to see on this podcast, send me a message on Instagram at Alex_Ramirez1020 and let me know. As a thank you for that, I have an amazing surprise for each and every one of you who does take the time to leave us a comment or review on YouTube or one of the major podcasting platforms